Alrighty. TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. It's a Monday after Sunday. Let's see what's going on here. Doc from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. All right, let's see now. Let me go to the chat line too. Let me open that up. Deed. Boy, some of the strangest stories out there anymore. This whole this whole marketplace is strange. I can only giggle and laugh at it. I guess that's about the easiest and only way to describe it. It's a laugh. All right, there it is. There's no chat on the chat line, so that's not cool, not bad, not anything. It's just not good, bad, or indifferent. Let's start it off, because sometimes I always at least I used to say, I think I'm a figment of my own imagination, and this is all just a dream, and I'm in a nursing home somewhere. So maybe Doc is not really talking to the world. Maybe Doc is just hallucinating all this. All right, there we go. There is the Swiss franc, and you can see it's a lot of red. You know, it's been going down. Looking at the Chicago Quant, you can see we did pop into a buy on Thursday of last week. Friday we went back into the sell, and you can see it's lifting back up again today. Which when we look at the Swiss franc against the dollar, when this is going up, the dollar is going up, and when this is going down, the dollar is going down. You can see we've been in a weekly sell since back in the beginning of April, and it's just slowly grinding south. You know, nothing major. There's not a lot of screaming and yelling. There's not much action. I guess if anything, it's Swiss Credit Suisse, who got a little stabbed by a customer, and that's about it. Nothing more going on over there. None of those odd votes that we've been seeing over time, and everything seems to be moving along. Let's jump over to, let's see, and you can see here also on the, oh yeah, we started off here, J4X. Again, a figment of my own imagination. All right, and on the spreadsheet, why don't we just add to that too? We'll just go there. So 3 full weeks now in a sell, 1 day in a sell. It's the dollar is weak. Matter of fact, I heard this morning, what was it about the European Union? They think that the GDP could be very positive. I have no idea how, but you know, numbers are just numbers anymore, except for Doc's, of course. Ours are meaningful, and the world's numbers seem to be like some type of fantasy, I guess you could say. Let's jump over to, let's take a look at the euro this morning, if I can find that mouse. There it is. One of these mouse will do it. These mises, 2 pieces. And there it is right there. There's the euro. You see, it's trying to move down a little bit. So again, that dollar is showing a little firmness here. On Friday, we did go into the daily buy. Let's put that down below. Right there. And let's check it on the fact check spreadsheet. Yep, 1 day in a buy there, 3 weeks in a buy. It's dancing along just like the euro. And this thing doesn't seem to be letting go. You can see where the weekly is just really ramping it up. Maybe they're going to go after that dotted line. I forget why we put that dotted line there, but obviously it is there, and we're heading towards it. It's kind of like the way the solar system is. Let's check it out on J4X. Let's see. Dollar. It's a euro against the dollar. Right there. There it is. You can see a little bit down here before the Hinkiashis kick in. And then obviously it's not. The Hinkiashis are still driving it up. So we'll, you know, again, we try to emulate our green dots with the Hinkiashi. So it gets close. It has about a 65% correlation. So, and it's also a lag. That's the problem, is that it's not as bad, but it's a lag. You know, I used to, you know, there was a time when I would look at, was it pivots? You ever try watching pivots on a charting service? And the pivots always are like, you know, 6 hours behind or 4 hours behind. You know, they lag. And same thing here with the Hinkiashi. They lag. It's better to know the pivots live, you know, do the math for it instead of doing a service, try to define it, I guess you could say. Then there's the cable. There's the cable. has that upwardly direction, but look at those red dots, and you can see we did close in a weekly buy right there on Friday, and you can see it on the fact check spreadsheet on line 13 with 2 days in a sell right there, and 1 week now in a buy. And so it pushed up this morning. They made new highs, get up to 39.29, and let's put a line in there for last week right there. So it's trying to come out of that weekly sell, see how well it does this week. I'd like to see this daily get into a buy. We get that type of action going. Could be very interesting. It's interesting in the fact that the daily is not leading this weekly buy. That's the thing that catches my eye more than anything else, is the curiosity of the fact that it doesn't. So we'll see what that does. See if this tries to roll over, and then I don't know if this can roll over that freely the way it's trying to launch itself through the time manifold, or the nonlinear time manifold to be exact. It's not like a algebraic linear approximation. It is not like that. All right, and then we drift away from there, and obviously when Doc does see the cable go into a weekly buy, I get excited and I start thinking of the 140s. And as last week it was all jumping up, I kept on saying 140, 140, 140, or 142, 142, something like that. It was going to go up there, and all of a sudden, boom, explosion, and from this daily buy, we got our 140, and now we've pulled the weekly into a weekly buy, but the daily has choked itself off a little bit. Now we jump over to our dessert. The dessert of it all is the Turkish Lira. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, how about that? I thought with all that buying that's been going on with this daily buy, I thought it was going to go chase that yellow dotted line going into this week, and here they push it down. Darn. Like darn. Keep on waiting for it to go challenge those cute little dotted lines we put up there. Let's take a look at it on J4X. Right there it is. And I think they want to get this thing rolling. You know, I mean, I keep on thinking that with the way it's acted and the stuff that's going on and the $2 billion absconded and all that other stuff, I think that, you know, it's got the potential to go up into the nines. And so and then not only go up into the nines, but, you know, climb into the tens. This thing looks like it's got a lot of push going on there. So that is where we are now. When it comes to the Turkish Lira, there's so much politics going on there. You know, there's so much wildness, I guess you could call it. It's got a lot of people confounded, confused, not sure what they want to do. I understand Mr. Biden is sticking his nose again where he's not supposed to, but well, that's the way it goes with him. You know, he does all kinds of, he'll do what he wants to do, and there's not much stopping him from doing it. That's the way he rolls. And so, you know, we can't stop him from, he says things, you know, when you control the media, it's very interesting. When you control the media, you know, his side of the political spectrum, when they control the media, you know, he gets away with doing anything. Like every time he says something, they could walk it back, you know, if they don't want this policy. So, you know, if it's a mistake or not a mistake is if they walk it back. He doesn't walk it back. He doesn't pay attention. But they walk it back. Now they've set this, what's really curious this week is he's going to address the nation, but they're not packing the House, the joint session. So it's going to be over half. It's going to be more than over half. It's going to be 2/3 empty. So the bigger question is, are they going to let any Republicans in? And maybe it won't even be live. Who knows with them? Anything's possible. But yeah, so don't pay attention to Monsieur Biden. He's under control. They've got him under control. Someone's controlling him pretty well. The group is, you know. It's the collective socialist agenda has him under control. People keep on saying to me here in the United States, they go, who's controlling him? Who's the person at the top? And I keep on saying, there is no one person on the top. You know, they're all together. It's just the way Stalin was. Stalin wasn't alone. He had other people like Khrushchev working, you know, on a lower level, and other people working on lower levels. And when you went against the collective, you disappeared. And so it's the same thing here. The Democrats have a collective, and it's a group think, and they're basically traveling all in the same direction. And so it's not one person controlling the Democrat Party anymore as much as it's a group that does it, you know? And so it's probably like Mrs. Clinton on some level, Mr. Obama on another level. There's probably a couple of smaller, less known by the public, long-time Democrats controlling their part of it. I could say Podesta and things like that. There's a lot out there. So, Bernie Sanders is involved deeply with Elizabeth Warren. They're all working in the same collective direction. So he's not really being manipulated by one person as much as he's being controlled by the party itself. I think that's the best way to describe it. So there's nothing to worry about really there. They even made an attempt to take his ability to use nuclear weapons away from him. That was really funny. I doubt any of you know that. The Democrats in the Congress actually created a bill to try to take away his power of controlling the nuclear weapon. Him and her. It was really funny. But no one really pays. When you control the media, you can hide that stuff. So, they do it, they pass it, and then no one talks about it. They keep it really quiet. So that is, don't be too nervous about Mr. Biden. It's all right. It's a odd circus act going on. That's all it really is. All right, jumping over to, from there we go to the Canadian and take a look at the Canadian, not because we're talking about Biden, but because we were looking at the Turkish Lira. It has a tendency to kind of move with the Turkish Lira. In this case here, it's been doing a lot of the opposite of it of late. You can see where it's going down, which means it's stronger against the dollar, today actually it's doing right with it. The Turkish Lira, let's go back to the Turkish Lira. You can see the Turkish Lira has been weak against the dollar, and today it is actually strong against the dollar. And that's what we're seeing there. Now, whereas the Canadian has been weak against the dollar for, 4 days there, 5 days since that little pounce. 4 days, that is. And, and we slipped into the weekly sell also last week, defining that as weak or strong against the dollar. And let's see, let's go like that and make it solid. There we go. And so it also is heading down. When we see that, we usually interpret that as some strength coming into the oil market. And so that's what we're watching for is, see what kind of strength is coming into the oil market. And we'll take a quick look at NASCAD right there. That's the loonie trade. And this moving up insinuates also strength in the oil market. But notice that the daily quant is moving down and we're in a weekly quant at the same time. So this is just a digestion going on. You see rallies. Someone's got to take some profits out of it, and then it starts over again and starts to rally again in value. And so we would assume that that's what the crude oil will look like when we go look at that this morning. Right there, we look at the energy sector by going through that. And you can see it's playing with a daily sell today. But we did close in a weekly buy last week. So this is the digestion from this move from, I guess, the 59 area, where it ran all the way up to the 63 area, or 63 and a half area, or 69, and you want to be perfectly exact. And then it started to do a little correcting in here, and we'll see if this finds a way to get back into the daily buy, and then they go back after that 65 area. All right, now we'll take a look at Nat Gas right there in the June contract, and you see this has been firm in just the last 2 days. It's showing a little weakness, but this has, for this early in the season, jumped into the weekly buy and a daily buy, and it has climbed from the 70s or high 60s all the way up to the 85s, which is a little unique for this time of the year. All right, and then we take a look at the robo, or the gas oil that powers the automobiles around here. Electric is only like 1 or 2%. We try not to take electric too seriously. I feel like it's going to fall the way Mr. Hitler's electric tanks fell. It'll be fun while it lasted. But I think the real story is the smart cars. I think that's what we're really seeing. See, now that stayed in the weekly buy on crude last week. I'm sorry, gas oil. I really think that that's what it really is going to come down to. I don't think in the end it's the electric cars per se. I think it's the technology, the smart cars doing their job. In other words, driving themselves and being more efficient when it comes to safety and things like that. I think that is the real gist of the electric car thing, and Tesla in particular. He's got the best smart car out there. Supposedly, BMW and Mercedes smart cars allegedly are even better, but they don't get the press, and so they don't seem to get the credit as the Tesla smart cars. And I think that's what really is the real driving force. I don't really believe it has anything really to do with the idea that we're going to be all electric cars and reduce CO2 and all this other stuff. I just showed on my one website. I just showed that the CO2 predictions are totally wrong, and by the Geological Society, which is like the number one, it basically is like the number one site to go to about things like that, and they're basically saying that CO2 has it really doesn't have any effect on the Earth, and so in the sense of what mankind is doing with it. I mean, we obviously need CO2 to generate oxygen. So if you don't have CO2, we don't have oxygen. So the more you have CO2, the more oxygen you have. The less CO2 you have, the less oxygen. So these global warmer people are asking us to stop breathing, basically. That's what it comes down to. Everything is the sun. So, I always mention that here when we get into something like that. But I think that the electrical cars and the crude oil and so forth, what it really comes down to is it is more of the smart cars, not the idea of reducing CO2 and so forth. I think that's what it really comes down to. Now, let's see, what is that? That's the three energies. So what we do is we drift back to the currencies, because there's no real questions today so far. And you can see here the ruble. Is that there's the ruble. You can see the ruble's moving down. And you can see it's actually going after a weekly sell. That's really cool. I think we talked about that last week where we thought we have good potential to get into that weekly sell. We think Mr. Putin is doing, he's playing Mr. Biden like a fiddle. So it's obviously not much of a problem there. Mr. Putin is much more skilled than I guess you could say the Democrat Party. And they really hate the Russians too, the Democrats. They want to be the lead socialists in the world now. And they're really pissed at the Russians for screwing up communism, socialism. They really hate them for that reason alone. I can't tell you how many times I've read some of the strangest things about Stalin and so forth from the left in the United States, where if he only had robots and and so forth and computers. Yo, Robin, what's cooking?
I just sent you an article that has a quarterly silver chart in it. You got to see this.
Oh, okay. Let's take a peek at it.
Because each bar is a quarter.
Each bar is a quarter. Let's take a. Oh yeah, I see that silver quarter. Okay. Let's put. Matter of fact, I'll put silver up on the. Let's do this. There's the metals right there. Now we're playing with the daily sell today on the silver. Let's see now. Let's take a look and see what you got here. Ah, okay. Let's bring that up and take a look at it. Okay, it's on a tweet type thing, huh? And it looks like they're trying to hit that top, and it's doing a little digestion. Oh, is that on zero hedge?
Yeah.
What did I get it on? Somehow or another, I've got the tweet of it. Don't ask me how, since I don't pay attention to tweet. Let me see if I can find the zero hedge one. But it seems like it's the same chart, because you're talking about hitting the top of the range on a slope, right?
Well, if it breaks, they're talking about it breaking out above there, and then it'll be on its way. But if it doesn't, hey, it's not good,
Yeah.
I just thought it looked interesting.
Yeah, I hear you there. I saw where the CFTC and the Securities Exchange Commission. I'm heading for that now I'm trying to find it on Zero Hedge. I heard the Securities Exchange Commission and the CFTC are getting together to try to deal with the crypto situation.
What are they going to deal with, though?
Well, you know how the CFTC is. You know, they're in the pocket of the exchanges, so you know they're pro it. Yeah, so they're going to try to save it from the CFT from the Securities Exchange side of it, and the Fed. Yeah, so how far down is that article? I don't see it on Bitcoin.
It's a CFTC, not Bitcoin, on Zero Hedge.
Okay, CFTC. I did see something something about that.
It's like it's deep down inside. I mean, at what page? I don't know what page.
See if you can copy it again and send it over, because somehow or another I got a Twitter of it from you. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's the silver action, and we'll go with that. I'm surprised about the sell that's kicking out in it, but the weekly is holding up very firm. So it could probably go after that slope. No, that's not it. Yeah.
I'll just put SI on here.
There you go. Let's see what that is, and I'll show the audience that.
Oh, you're in your. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's markets live. We're live trading. You know, that's how it's advertised too. That is how we are advertised. Yeah. I don't know why it came up as Twitter. I don't pay attention to Twitter. It's such a sewer.
I don't either. I don't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, I hit the button on what you sent over and it comes up as Twitter. Hey, at least the pink moon came up right. Here it is, SI. Okay, here we go. There you go. There's Zero Hedge. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what we got there. Let's see if we can kill some of these commercials on it. All right, there you go. CFTC silver price tamp down tactics. Let's see if we can find the chart. There it is. It's the same chart that came up on the Twitter. Nice. Yeah, so it'll be interesting is when we go and look at what happened there. Okay, so when we look at that chart, I wonder if we can shrink this down. Yeah, we'll do this. So we'll shrink that down like that. And then we look at our work right there. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to bring this down across so I can get to it again like that. And then you can see here, we're trying to go into a daily sell right here on this action right here, this daily sell. And I imagine if we get into a daily buy, then we go back to this again, then we will break that trend and maybe that up arrow on the silver might finally take off again. We're in a weekly buy, so it's trying to tell us that there is strength there. There's no doubt about it on the silver complex. Yeah. All right, I'll catch you in a little bit. All right, traders, that's like it is. It's always live here with Doc. And so what it comes down to is that we were looking at the ruble. Usually we go from the ruble and we look at the we go to the metals complex. Do we do that? Yeah, we do the metals complex. So that coordinates in. That's why I kept Robin on there to look at it and try to interpret it. So let's see what they're doing to gold. Let's see what they're doing to the gold complex. There's gold. Same thing. It's trying to get into a sell there, but let's give this a refresh. But notice the daily is not being sold down here. Let's see, where's that? It's a reload, right? So let's go like this. There we are. I think. No, I missed it. There's a reload. Little red dot forming, but right there you can see the strength. Right there, there's strength. It's not willing to go down, and we went into the weekly buy 2 weeks ago, and today looks no weaker than before. So usually what we do is when we're in the currencies and we look at say like the ruble, when it's moving down, we're thinking we're going to see some strength in the metals complex. And I don't think we do correlate that to the metals. We should. The country has so many minerals. That's why I'm very captivated by the ruble. I think the Russian Federation one day is going to get their game together. They've got so many natural resources, not counting the fact they have an educated workforce. You just got to figure that sooner or later they put the two together, and boom, they go in a very positive direction. Now we from here we jump over to the yen, like that, and you can see the yen is, they're trying to sell it down. There's still a little weakness in here. Let's see me do this. We'll widen that out. And today you can see the daily is just trying to get up in there, but the weekly is still pressing down. So there, we see that weakness there, and then we jump over to the Mexican peso, right there. And the Mexican peso pushed back into the daily sell there on Friday. That was probably Friday morning we put that up there, and I didn't look at it, to close of Friday. So there it is, back into the sell again. It's had such a nice run on the downside, and with the weekly sell up in here, up in the 2075 area, and now we are flirting with the 19.5 area. Did we get down that low? See, there it is right there, 1978. So, and right now you can see it's trading at 1982 live, and you can see daily sell, even with it trying to turn up. Let's widen that. You can see it's trying to turn up a little bit there too, but it's battling with the time battling with the time manifold also at the same time. Whoa, there you go. Don't be shy. Ask your questions. I like that, Robin. That's a goodie. It's Monday. Everybody's like hungover still. What did I see last week? Or was it this morning? Someone put something up there. Like, oh yeah, Madeline did. She said something about, it was like, or was it Madeline or was it Marianne? One of the women from high school, put something up on the Facebook. Something about how Monday, how did they say it? Poof. First it was Friday afternoon, now it's Monday. That's what they said. Something like that. One of the two of them did it. And you can see here the strength in the Mexican peso is just not really jumping out that much. Especially, on the daily it is, but then you're always going to get your zigzags in the daily. But look at the trend of the weekly. Just kind of staying down. Look at the white lines well underneath the time manifold on the minus side. So, it's not really picking up. Did you miss the Turkish Lira? You did. Let's go back to it right there. There's the Turkish Lira. Yeah, I know, with that 2 billion absconded with in the Turkish Lira. He says, you know what he says? What was interesting, did you read the story? The fellow who took off with the $2 billion in the Turkish Lira in the cryptos said that he's going to give it to the original owners. So I guess President Aragon, it sounds to me, I don't know, I don't understand exactly what's going on. I didn't read anything more than that. But I guess he says that the administration over there is stealing cryptos from people. So it's a confiscation going on. And so he takes the $2 billion and says that he's got it safely tucked away, and he's going to give it back to the people who owned it originally. Is that right? Is that what you saw too, Robin? It's like, wow. Wow, things are, no wonder the Turkish Lira is looking weird. Look at that whole, let's do that. Let's put that up there. Where's that? We'll do a rectangle with it. Look at that trade, the way the action of it is. That's kind of weird, that gap up, it's like an island. What do they call that? Sometimes you can have an island top, or you can see a gap up, and they're not even closing that gap, and we're in a weekly sell. You can see it here. Let's put an oval around this one. They're not closing. You ever listen to the people who do gap theory? There we go. And we'll move that down and change the color of it. Let's do it this way. Can I grab a hold of it? There it is, right there. And then we're going to fix that. I think we'll make it like white or something like that. The dots. So That's white. We'll do the background so it's clear so you can see it. There we are. And so, there's that gap theory. In general, have people who say, they follow gaps. And so you got this insane gap. And I guess at some point they knew that they were going to lose $2 billion. $2 billion is a lot of money over there in Turkey, I would assume. And, in other words, we could lose $2 billion over here in slippage. My son told me one time he worked for J.P. Morgan Chase, and he was doing something with the servers, and he said he reduced the U.S. GDP by $6 billion or $4 billion for about for a minute or two. That's slippage that has no effect around here. Let's see. There are two more that skipped town over the weekend. Oh, really? That's what I thought. Yeah, because he says it's kind of like, and it's in escrow. The $2 billion is like an escrow with this guy, and he's going to give it back to the original owners. So I guess what was going on quietly is the administration was taking cryptos away from people, and $7 billion worth is a lot of crypto. So or $2 billion is a lot of crypto. Did I say seven? $2 billion is a lot of crypto. So I guess he's going to get all that money back to the people. And this gap that's right here with the oval down below, the weekly doesn't seem to be able to move out of it whatsoever. Whereas the daily has been leading the way, So we'll see. And then sooner or later, this is going to straighten itself out. And then it's going to be like, boom. It'll go through those yellow dots and rip like a rocket, like a Tesla, like a what's his name? What's his name that owns Tesla? Elon Musk. It'll be like an Elon Musk Dragon ship. He's got two Dragon rocket ships parked on the. Let me see if I can find that. He's got two Elon Musk Dragon rocket ships, SpaceX's, parked on the space station now. Let's see if I can find that. We'll put a picture of that up there. You can't count Elon out. I mean, that's why his stock is so strong. There's a lot. It's kind of like Turkey in reverse. Elon Musk, Tesla stock. Remember, he owns the rocket company outright. And so the rocket ship company has the potential to... what does it have the potential to? It has the potential to go into space. And supposedly there's these, what do they call them? Asteroids. And there's this one asteroid coming relatively close to us where it's only like a month away or 3 months away in flight, or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or 5 weeks, or it's something like that. It's really low. It's not like the trip to Mars. And there's talk of him putting ships up there and then them shooting out to and they're going to go mine the asteroid, land on the asteroid, mine the asteroid, and come back. And supposedly there's $2 trillion worth of like gold and silver on it. And that's like the quiet secret. You read about it once in a while, but no one really talks about it. And it's like, what? It's like, so, I think a lot of the action in his Tesla car company is the smart car side of it. I got a friend with the National Science Foundation, and he's one of these. He's an upper up character in it. So he's like a chairman of one of the subcommittees, and he tells me that they're all in love with his battery technology. But I think it's the smart technology. He's got like 2 or 3 things that really are like, how they like to say, like irons in the fire. He's got a couple of irons in the fire. He has the rocket company possibly on the edge, getting ready to go mine incredible amounts of minerals and bring them back to Earth, and the ships are already in space sitting there. No one talks about it, but they're there. And he keeps on putting more rockets up there, or rocket ships up there, these Dragons. He's got Dragon 1 up there. He's got Dragon 2. And what's the engine? You know what the engine's name on his rocket ships are? Merlin. I mean, he is so cool. He's a funny guy. And so there's a lot up there. Let's see if I can find it. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm going to show you a picture of his 2 rocket ships parked up there. We'll find it in a second. Where is it at? Right there? We're going to find it. We'll show you a picture of it since it's a quiet day. And, we're glad. And anybody asks a question, we'll stop what we're doing. We'll go right to it. But it's a commodity thing. When you really think about it, that's a commodity thing. There's great potential for him to change the whole complexion of commodities. I mean, that is really where he's at. I mean, that's pretty wild, when you think about it. He has the ability to send his ships. I remember reading, I guess it was about, I want to say about 5-6 months ago, where he said that they believe that this asteroid they want to land on is no more than it's under like a couple months away or 5 weeks away or something like that, from Earth at some point, not this moment, but it's going to be that far, won't be that far away. And so, if he has like 4 or 5 rocket ships up there, hell, he'll send a massive run at them. I mean, he's already spent the most expensive side of it. And that is, the expensive side is getting it off the Earth and up into the suborbital space. And so, I mean, he can, basically with enough fuel, get out, escape velocity, head for this asteroid, go mine it, and then come, roaring back with, couple $2 trillion worth of minerals. And that would be pretty powerful. And, I mean, when we say that things are really strange when it comes to the understanding of the marketplace today, we're seeing price inflation. And I talk about it. We talk about it a lot, about the price inflation that's going on. There's a lot of price inflation going on, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And when you put these odd stories out there, when you look at some of these odd stories that are floating around, it starts to make sense. Matter of fact, was it? He's got a rocket set to go to the moon with a paid people. I don't know. How do you tourist? I guess you can call him tourist, right? So he's got this tourist trip that's going to go to the moon, and he's got like this one billionaire from Japan. He's bought like a bunch of seats on it, and so, there it is. Okay, I've got it. Here's the picture. Let's see if we can move this up. Can we disconnect it? How do we do this? Can we bring that up? Is that it right there? There it is right there. Okay, so there is the Dragon 1 parked right there. And that's a lot bigger. Look at the Dragon 2. The Dragon 2 is even bigger. And if he ends up parking a bunch of spaceships up on the space station, then all of a sudden, when that asteroid comes by, what stops him? It's a private company. What stops him from just taking off to go mine it? I mean, it's not like they have a police force that has the ability. I don't think the U.S. Air Force's police force is going to stop them. They're going to let them go. I mean, we have the space force. I don't think they care. I mean, why would they care? I mean, if he comes back to Earth with $2 trillion in gold and silver, I think that'll buy him a lot more of what he needs. It's going to finance a lot. Maybe that's why the metals markets are down. Robin just showed us. Let's go back to the metals market. Robin has showed us that chart. Let's see if we can find that chart again. Where did I put that? It was right there. Let's see if we can find it. There it is right there. Maybe the reason why we can't stay at all-time highs is that Elon Musk is going to bring back $2 trillion worth of gold and silver, and that'll, I don't know, maybe it's a deal with the Federal Reserve. They're looking for that. Who do you think will buy that stuff? I mean, it'll go out the door like cotton candy. Elon Musk comes back with $2 trillion in gold and silver. Let's say it cost him $500 billion to do it. That's probably even less. I mean, he puts his ships up there for a hell of a lot less money. So let's say it takes pay, because a danger pay and fuel and equipment and all that stuff, and he goes and to this asteroid, mines a couple trillion worth of gold and silver, brings it back to Earth. And remember, he's falling down, not going up. So it's not going to cost him much to bring it down to Earth. He's already spent the bulk part of it already. So he comes back with $1.5 trillion in gold and silver. You don't think the central banks are going to buy that from him in a heartbeat? Yeah. So that's where it's at. And that's maybe why we see the metals market act the way it does. Is that, he's got two, I'll show it to you again. Is it there? There it is right there. He's got two ships parked right there, Dragon 1 and Dragon 2. They're just sitting there. They've already, he's already paid. I mean, the Suya is 18. I have my doubts that it has the ability to go do that. The Cygnus 15, I don't know whose that is. Or Progress 77 and 75, I don't know if that's European Space Agency that are parked, but they look more like satellites than they do like spaceships. I mean, they're solar collectors around them. I mean, they're probably not going to move anywhere near the velocity that the Merlin is going to send. The Merlin engines are going to send these dragons. So that is what it is. I guess we could take a look and see who. Let me just take a peek. I'm curious. Who built Progress 77? Progress spaceship. I thought they were. It sounds like Earth. I mean, it sounds like U.S. rockets. Let's see. Progress spacecraft is built in 1990, between 78 and 90. They've been parked there a long time. What? So let's see. Progress a Russian expandable cargo spacecraft. Its purpose is to deliver supplies needed to sustain human presence in orbit. While it does not carry a crew, it can be boarded by astronauts when docked in its space station. Hence, it's classified as classified as crude by its manufacturer. Okay, so they're not going to be able to go to any asteroid. What was the other ones? Let me see if I can find the other ones. The other one was the Soyuz MS-18. Let's see. Let's do the other one. We know what the Soyuz is. Let's go check out the Cyprus. Is that what it was? The Cyprus? I mean, this could be answering a lot. This, I know it's insane, but then that's Doc, of course. That could be the Cygnus and Progress. Okay. Cygnus Spacecraft is expandable American cargo spacecraft developed by Orbital Science Corporation. Now manufactured and launched. Orbital Transportation Service Program enters the commercial resupply service program once completing its first demonstration flight. Okay. I don't know if that has the ability to leave there and go out. I know that Elon Musk ships can go with the Merlin engine. It can do escape velocity. I don't know if the Cygnus or the Progress has that ability. I doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cygnus does, but I doubt it's going to. Let's put it that way. So when you see this action here, is this a digestion of that move from the? What is this? This is all the way back to 2004. What is this? This is a monthly chart. This must be a month or quarterly. This must be a quarterly chart. That's what it says. Quarterly candles. So it's an A. This is a B. And are we looking at a C? Now I think that they're holding the metals market down because they know that Elon Musk is that type of individual where he'll go try to grab. And I know he's talked about doing it. He's actually talked about it, just like he's talked about the Mars missions. Ah, there we go. You have gone quiet, or at least quieter. Me? I can hear me. You don't. How about now? Is that any better, Cassiopeia? Oh, you're like the constellation, right? Cassiopeia. Cool. Are you watching Proximita, Cassiopeia? Are you watching the action we're seeing? It's a star. It's smaller than our star. That's about 4.5 light years away. It's going through its rebirth. Let's see. Cassiopeia is a constellation in the northern sky named after the vain queen Cassiopeia in Greece. Okay, so yeah, I mean it's I mean we're we're these are interesting times. I mean Elon Musk has got two ships that have the ability to go do some mining, and he will. He will. There's no doubt about that. All right, and that's maybe why we see that in the metals market. Let's go back to the metals market, right there. There's gold. Gold's not letting go, and silver is showing us a little daily sell thing going on right at the moment. Look at that. Let's give it a reload because it looks like it's lifting up now. Look at that. It's coming back. Now the daily looks like it's going to push itself into the daily today. So we may see it close in a daily sell, but we're in a weekly buy. So remember, traders, what does that mean in Doc world? That means don't get short. It's not a sign to get short. It's only to take profits. Cassiopeia, can you read me now? Come in over. This is Doc in Doc Space. Yeah, that's the action we're seeing there. All right, now let's jump over to... let's see, where do we go from here? We saw the three other currencies we look at. Now what we do is we go over and look at the Bitcoin, which is picking up again. And all those things we talked about last week, that noise was noise as far as we're concerned. Look at that. It's trying to get it, and we're back over again this week in the weekly buy. And remember, we were in a weekly sell on the Bitcoin. You can see it on our fact check spreadsheet for all that selling that was going on. We were 2 full weeks in a weekly sell. So our math picked up the selling from the 64,000 area. And you can see here, Friday, we went into the daily buy. I'm not sure why that's there. I guess that's it, is the daily buy. Because you can see it on the fact check spreadsheet. How come it says sell? Should have a buy there for 1 day. That's what it is. Where is that at? It should be 1 day and a buy. There it is right there. And then we don't have enough people asking about the cryptos around here. And then we're going to show you what we've got going on. Here is the Coinbase. You can see it's trying to lift up here this morning. And then let's show you, we look at it also on an intraday right now. We're starting to, we're running a 12-minute, which is not my style normally. It's Newtonian time, and I'm not really big on that. So, but you can see here, it works all right with the math. We're going to start shifting this back into Doc math. Matter of fact, what we could do is, just for interest sake, since no one's asking any questions, except for Cassiopeia, he's or she is looking for some sound. I hope everything's better there for you. And then, let's see, did I copy this? Double check. 12 minutes. We got to, okay, so activate, copy, paste. There we are. And now let's go to Nikola Tesla's numbers. Let's start off with 396. We'll go back. We'll do like 2 days. And see how that looks. It's backfilling. There we go. Now on Friday, notice that it closed in the buy on Friday with 396 right there. And this is just 396 ticks. That shows a whole day. That's not too bad. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so now let's go back. See, I like charts that are spatial. I'm not really hooked on the Newtonian way of looking at things when it comes to our math. Okay, here's 3 days back. Let's see what 3 days back looks like. All right, there's 3 days back. Yeah, nice. See where it goes into the sell right there and goes down. You can see the can't go into a buy because of the green and the red. Still in a sell all the way to right here. So from here all the way down to here, going into the next day, and it finally goes into a buy. there. And it does go into sell right there again. It's a winner, chicken dinner, but then it slams it right back down to the start, starts over again, another winner, chicken dinner, puts it into a sell here. It's okay. Makes money, but not a heck of a lot. Well, yes, it does. I mean, it goes into the sell at 292.95 and trades as low as, what did I say, 292.95 and trades down to 91.30. So $1.60 win. I think you can make money off of $1.60 move in a stock. And then it goes into the buy here, and it's a winner again. Then it goes into the sell here. It chops you around a little bit sideways, but nothing major, just a couple dollars. And stays in that sell all the way down to from the, where is it at? It's the $366 area, all the way down to 306 versus 293. What is that? 7. That's $13 win. Is that a $13 win? No, it's a 366. So that would be a $7 win. So it's a $7 win there. So this is not too bad. It's following the Tesla megahertz thing. That's Mr. Tesla's. You can hear me now better? Cool. Yeah, so that's what we're doing there. And then let's do one more. Let's go back again. Let's add more time to this. Let's make it 4 days. Number 3 is a Tesla thing. He's measuring the megahertz of space background. That's where he got his numbers from. When people talk about Tesla's magic numbers, that's what he's talking about. Look at that. That's where the cell goes right there. Starts there, and it goes smackadoodle city all the way down to... Can't go in that buy there because it's a red and green. Right there. That's short-lived. It goes back into the cell right there and gets clocked. So that is what it is. All right, let's do this. Let's do save workspace. Save workspace as. Bingo. And then let's get rid of the Newtonian one. Activate and goodbye. Yellow brick road. And the dailies will pick up over the next week or so. We'll start to get some math going in that. So, matter of fact, we should probably remove that. Let's do that. Let's remove that. Gas line, remove. And then let's add, let's see, format, cancel, close, insert, indicator, add, gas 3, not gas line 3, so it has a shorter adjustment or read. It's the old original. It's the first attempt. Let's see, properties. Let's make it 2. Okay, there we are. And then let's do this again. Adjust that. And move that to the bottom. Format and go to bottom like that. There we are. Okay. There we go. And we'll save this. And so we should start to pick up something over the next couple of days with the manifolds and everything. Save. Yes. There we are. But I guess the best we have now is the spatial one, which I like the most. And that is right here when it comes to Coinbase. Right there. So the cryptos are where it's at. What is funny is the fellow that they're making in charge of the Securities Exchange Commission, for about 3 weeks, our webinar was preceded by it, followed by it. He has this lecture series up at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute, or is it Michigan Institute of Trucking? MIT, yeah. Michigan Institute of Trucking. He has this lecture series he does there for the drivers, and talking about cryptocurrencies and blockchain in particular. And that's one of the reasons why they're drawing on him. He's a socialist type character, but he understands the blockchain. I guess they're going to pull a turkey on somebody. Oh well, what can you say? And so that's where we are. All right, now what's left? What have we not looked at? Let's the stock indices, right? So let's drift over to where do we go? We'll go to here. Take a look at the stock indices, see what's going on there. There's the Nasdaq 100, or known on Dukascopy as the Tech 100. Let's put it up on Dukascopy there. There it is right there, the Tech 100. There it is right there. We have the, you can see it's flirting with a daily sell at the moment. We've really been flatlined for weeks. Look at that. I mean, really. Going about 3 weeks back, it's just going into a flat line, playing with itself in that area. Not, just vacillating back and forth. Same thing to some extent with the S&P 500 too. Now the S&P 500 is holding on to the daily buy from Friday, whereas the Nasdaq is trying to go back into a daily sell. Both are cleanly in weekly buys. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is also, or at least was, now it's stopped, was flirting with a daily sell, but it's pulled itself back up again. And so you can see here, they're not really, moving in that direction. All right, traders, it's been a quiet Monday. We will catch you on Tuesday. This is Doc from North America. I think we're going to talk about gold and the Dragon rocket ship or something like that. The metals market and Dragon 1 and Dragon 2. I think that's really what's going to come down to. We'll see if that really has a real effect on it. I personally think that's part of it. I mean, in these times, who can tell anymore? When it comes to listen to Janos talk about trying to read fundamentals anymore. You have to wonder that you can't really trust anything fundamental. But what is fundamentals? We know that he has 2 rocket ships parked at the space station with the ability. Okay, let's see. That's what it really comes down to. He's got 2 rocket ships parked there, and that could really put a threat into the. I'll find out how far away that asteroid is, because I remember thinking to myself, why go to Mars? Just go there and grab all that gold and silver, and then you could build better ships with an extra $1 trillion of cash. You could build better ships. All right, this is Doc from North America. Catch you all later. Everybody have a safe and smart day. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends.